It's that time of year where Venus moves into her home kingdom of Taurus, and we all benefit greatly starting on June the 5th to July the 3rd. We're going to receive the divine grace of the goddess herself, bringing us friendliness, love, beauty, romance, kindness, and even the promise of peace. So, we're going to cover her journey through the sign of Taurus for your sign today. Listen for your sun sign because that can bring you in touch with purpose and career matters. It is your eternal self. It is the real you. Whereas your rising sign or ascendant is the character you play in the simulation or the game that we're in, this matrix avatar, whatever this thing is. And so your ascendant is like the character you play. You often look a bit like your ascendant, right? And then we also have the moon sign, which is really good for understanding things to do with your home, your nest. And also moon is mother in your chart and sun is father. So, but listen for all three. Over time, you learn which is the best and how to understand your life. We're not going to cover a lot of world stuff. I'll gently touch on the potential for various peace efforts in the world based on Venus being in her home kingdom, especially as she's going to oppose the goddess of contracts and agreements and maybe force a peace event in the world. Now, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac. This is not sidereal or Vedic astrology. I'm also talking to you about the fixed stars and minor asteroids as needed. I find that the devil is in the asteroid details. And today we'll be talking about Juno, the goddess of agreements. It can even include peace, but also when it comes to love agreements, whether we're going to stay or go in that long-term love story. Juno has something to say about that for most signs in the month ahead. And, during her transit through the sign of Taurus, there's an interesting thing happening. It's when we get to July, around July the 2nd, 3rd, she joins with Uranus and brings a happy surprise. When we cover all signs today, I'm going to talk for your sign mostly about midway through her journey, how she trines the North Node of Fate, where eclipses have been happening in Pisces. And this is a place of exaltation. And we also trine. Did I say trine? Where she sextiles the North Node of Fate and trines the South Node in Virgo. And that makes a wedge with the nodes of fate. And when Venus does this, she brings something good to not just your Taurus whole sign house, but also the Pisces part of your chart as well. So we'll be covering that in your all signs delineation today. Now, the only thing I want to announce here, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it. Of course, if you do like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you think you're subscribed, double check. YouTube has been dumping subscribers yet again for most channels. We find that these sort of scrubs that they do every 3 months, I think a lot of you think you're still subscribed and you're not. One thing I want to mention is my Sky Reader class. I had to push it from mid-June to just after July 4th weekend because I'm moving in June as I predicted of myself using the eclipse to my moon on March 30th. And then I was notified that my landlord was selling this house that I rent. So that's all good. I'm moving in June to a new place. I'm excited, but I'd like you to definitely consider coming to join me for Sky Reader in July, August, 6 weeks of summer school. Be your own astrologer, time your best life. Learn more about the course in the description box below. The details of the course outline are there and the early bird discount wait list. The tuition card has not opened yet, but it will coming up sometime in the month of June. All right, so let's get going. And my 2025 All Signs bundles, 24 hours of video content, 2 for each sign, navigating in a chronological way the year of 25, and a PDF guidebook, different ones for each sign. Check it out in the description box below too. You might want to grab that half price sale. Now, the first thing I want to mention as we get ready to talk about this Venus and Taurus is to remind you of dignity. She's very strong in 2 signs by term of it being her home kingdom. Her home kingdom of Libra, the air sign, the scales of balance of justice and all of that, commerce as well. And she's at home in the sign of Taurus. Now, you might know that Taurus is an earth sign. So it's things to do with our sensuality, our earthly delights, things to do with being like bullish and stubborn, things to do with the stock markets as well, because the sign of the bull is connected to the United States Stock Exchange, and Taurus rules currencies and Venus rules money as well. So with Venus here, the rocky stock markets that have been, back and forth over Donald Trump's tariffs and other measures of economic hardship that seem to be on the horizon may stabilize with Venus and Taurus through till July the 3rd. So June 5th to July 3rd. No promise on that. Of course, there are multiple variables like Uranus sitting on the sun of the United States Stock Exchange itself, New York Stock Exchange itself, which is pretty erratic and unstable energy as well. One thing I will say about Venus and Taurus is that everybody, no matter what your sign, will want to experience more joy and pleasure and sensuality of life's delights during this transit. I mean, it's just going to be a vibe. But also know that it is for the earth signs of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo that she trines either the earth trines the Virgos, earth trines the Caps, and of course your Tauruses as well. So you Taurus sun, moon rising, and Capricorn sun, moon rising, and Virgo sun, moon rising. Enjoy her yearly transit through the sign of Taurus. It's always a good time. She's often quite a lot faster than this, usually about 3.5, 3 weeks, and she's almost a month because she is just coming off a retrogradation. So it gives you a longer time getting the blessings of Venus. And she is, goodness, love, opportunity, beauty, kindness, peace, creativity, art, money, prosperity in that regard, things to do, currency, and things to do with romantic love. And so we're all going to feel that. But I love for you, Tauruses, Virgos, and Capricorns, how much better you feel about the whole thing. And if you're any of the angular signs, meaning you're across the way as a Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, or Taurus, sun, moon, rising, because you're right there in the thick of it. It's your story. And then over on the other sides of the story, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. So Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, you're either square or opposite this energy. You're angular to it. It's like going to have big shifts in your life. It's going to turn the wheel of your destiny. So we'll cover that when we do your sign. I'll remind you that you're angular. So don't forget, this is General Bell Curve Astrology. I'm not reading your chart, which is much more accurate. This is a general delineation given to you by Lori Luthian on May 25th. A little early access from my Patreon community. You guys get this a few days later. Little Lori, who's squinting and blinking like a fiend because I have cottonwood tree pollen allergies and grass maybe, but they're all at extreme highs. They're higher than they've been for a long, long time. And, or I'm just not in a, good shape these days, who knows? But I've got some great advice for my allergies from you. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you for that. I've been trying all the tips you have. Any more you have besides quercetin and bee pollen, let me know in the comments. Finally, this too shall pass. That's how I always tell myself when it's allergy season, this too shall pass. One more thing I wanted to mention was, I had it in my brain. Sun, moon, rising, listen for that. Oh, I do this outro. Okay. At the very end of every video now, I talk for about 5 or 6 minutes on some topic of interest to me. And it'll be, the name of the topic will be in the timestamps below. That's something offside of the actual video. And I may actually address a technique called solar arcs and show you something really spectacular that I was teaching my Patreon community this morning. Okay. If you don't know what that is, Patreon's my private community. For as little as $5 a month, you get all my content before the public, early access, ad free, and a little bit more up the tiers. You get different Zoom meetings, but even with the $5 tier, you get a monthly Q&A, a live Zoom call with me, like in a group. So think of coming by and joining us. I had a great call this morning. All right. That's my electrolyte powder. It tastes weird though. All right, let's get going. Let's start off with Aries, of course. And as I show you the sky, the first thing I want to do is just show you the sky. I'm in Aries, sun and moon, and Mercury's at 2 degrees. So I'm getting a lot of energy from that Saturn ingress. I feel very weighty today, very heavy, almost melancholic. In fact, last night I had a cryathon for 2 hours over past life memories. It was the most bizarre thing that I've ever encountered. Okay, so here it is. I'm in July now. This is when this transit ends and Venus is crossed into the side of Gemini. So this, instead of that, let's go back to the beginning of the story. That was my intention, right? Start at the beginning. So you'll notice that she's at 29 anaretic degrees on June 4th. And then on the 5th, in the evening, in Los Angeles time zone, she'll move in the evening into the sign of Taurus. And if you're in New York City, it'll be already it'll already be the 6th. So June 5th, 6th time zone dependent. Venus crosses sign boundaries into the sign of Taurus. And in Taurus, she is, as I said, highly dignified. I find it interesting that she's really not making contact with many planets. She touches with Pluto, yes, and that's an important transit, and we'll be covering that in my week ahead because it's off of a synodic cycle to do with her conjunction to Pluto way back in February. But you'll see here, that around June the 8th, she will be in that square to Pluto. And because I will do my week ahead video that Monday, probably covering this, or another video, whichever one it is, I'm not going to go into it now. Now, the other thing she does is she's kind of like on her own. She's really just not all that involved with a lot of other planets. I don't do the moon in this regard because the moon is so fast moving, making aspects all the time. So we're just covering the major planets. But if you look at her moving through the sky and she's going to continue on, it's clear she'll bump into Uranus. And that's around the 2nd, 3rd of July. And it means a surprise, but it should be a positive surprise. And it will be on the pretty well on the sun of the New York Stock Exchange solar chart. So, natal chart. So it could be very exciting, exhilarating news about cryptocurrencies or stock markets in positive ways, in general ways, coming up around the end of this month of June and into early July. As she moves forward, the thing I would like to share with you are two things. Venus, could she bring peace? And what does she do with the nodes of fate? Because she's pretty doing her own thing. She's kind of feral. She's not talking to a lot of people in significant ways. She's got her own roadmap. Don't forget, she ingresses on the 5th, 6th into the sign of Taurus, and then Jupiter follows suit on June 9th. I put my video out on that transit, but I'll be doing an update one as well. But they don't quite perfect what we call a sextile. It means they don't quite get perfectly flowing together because she's already ahead of Jupiter. And by the time Jupiter's sign changes into the next sign, she's too far ahead of him to form a partile or perfect sextile. So there's a missed opportunity for the lesser and greater benefic to form a positive harmony together. Just must note that as well. Although they're in a whole sign-based sextile, which does count, it's not as acute or powerfully precise as it could be. Now, she does manage, however, in this story. Let me go back. No, not even with Mercury. Mercury's speeding ahead of her. So then, oh, no, there she goes. And then she will end up with a Mercury sextile on June the 11th. On June the 11th, Mercury and Venus, good news, positive news, graceful news, easy information, positive developments regarding information and news. And with Jupiter co-present with Mercury, let's just say very good news, superlative news on June 11th, and give it a day or two before and a day after. She's going to cross over and talk to Juno, and Juno would indicate Juno, I've noticed, right? I'm a practicing astrologer. So it's when people are getting married or divorced. Like my son just got married and solar arc Juno was on his ascendant, a once in a lifetime transit, and it's his first marriage. So you're going to find that these energies of Juno will marry people and they will also divorce people, but they will make commitments or break commitments energetically. Juno transits. We have a Juno return about every 4.5, 5 years. And so it's like a regular feature of our sky, this asteroid Juno, the goddess of marriage, commitments, vows, and agreements. She's also moneta, coinage, money in the ancient world. And so there's a possibility this is good stock market stories as well, but maybe not. We'll see what happens. I do think, though, if peace in the world can come in places of war, with Scorpio rising Vladimir Putin, having Juno crossing his ascendant and Venus looking at that Juno from the house of open enemies, adversaries, or allies who are partnering with Russia, this is the chance for a lasting peace solution, not just a temporary. Venus says enduring, lasting solutions regarding peace and war. And so again, I'm going to call a potential final solution to that war maybe happening around June the 19th. We will give that the 19th through to about, it's exact on the 22nd, solstice, guys. And then around the 24th, the 19th to the 24th, peace in places of war. It could also impact the situation in Israel with their aggressive ethnic cleansing called Gideon's Chariot. Yes, go ahead, unsubscribe. I'm all right with that. And basically, with the sun of Israel being around 23 Taurus and Venus, Uranus being, hemming that sun in with the goddess of peace treaties across the way, there may be a kind of a forcing of the hand of Israel in order for peace to occur. And Donald Trump with a rising sign in Leo will square this story. And it would be very likely that whatever's going on, I bet Donald Trump has a huge say in it, a big hand in it. Sometimes just for fun, I want to track where the asteroid America is. I believe it's transiting in Gemini, which is up where Donald Trump has his sun. We'll be doing your sign in a minute, I promise. The all signs come after I do some musing on the sky in general. So let's take asteroid America. I believe it's trending in Gemini at this time. I do know Icarus was also in Gemini, falling from the sky, wings from the sky. I've already talked about this in another video, that we have some gnarly indications perhaps of a requiem, which is a funeral, and falling from the sky energy for a leader, metaphorically falling from the sky or literally falling from the sky. So it was Lachesis who cuts and ends and severs, one's life kind of thing from the old spinners of fate. And then also there was Requiem, which is a funeral. And I know I called it with the Pope, and I was correct that there might be a funeral for the Pope, I said, a week before he died. But that was because it was was it Requiem or was it another asteroid? Well, maybe it was Requiem. Okay. All right, I'm back in. I can't see the chart when I do that, so I'm back. Okay. So asteroid America at the time of this, maybe Juno is, forcing a peace treaty or something. It is pretty well going over Donald Trump's sun during the whole time that this is occurring. So we have a lot of Trump America energy activated just in general, but not necessarily from the solar perspective. Is there a lot of attention to this situation? It's more like from his rising sign, his win-lose, transactional winner-loser contest way of seeing the world. He doesn't like to lose, and he wanted to be a maker of peace. That's a part of his platform when he ran for office. And therefore, he doesn't like to lose. So he's going to persevere, I think, to try to get peace going in the Middle East and in Russia, Ukraine. I know, guys, about the complicity with what goes on with the old Riviera story. I know that. You don't have to correct me on it. I am not an advocate for what has been happening there. But also, what I wanted to mention in the sky here, yes, Icarus is not where I thought he was. At this point, Icarus is in June of 25, moving through Leo, Donald Trump's ascendant sign, with Requiem, the funeral asteroid. It doesn't mean he's in a funeral. It's his funeral. It could be he's attending a state funeral, or he'd be preoccupied with a funeral of some leader. We'll see what happens. This is also, this was also happening in Leo, which is Iran's rising sign. So Requiem, someone falling from power. I hope not, though. I don't hope there's not the destabilization of the Middle East by the nation of Ai in the Middle East, who's hankering for a war there. The other thing I'd say, with Venus across from Juno, she's got a strong position of strength here in our own lives, individually and collectively, where we want to make a vow for peace, or we want to make an agreement for love, or want to devote ourselves to a commitment around love and peace, or any kind of commitment. There is an opposition. Like Venus is strong, but she's fighting against something. There may be push and pull energies about sticking with or not sticking with a lasting relationship. And therefore, I will say that if you're in the back and forth of should I stay or should I go in any relationship for a committed story, I committed to my boss, I'd stay for 10 years. I committed to my spouse, I'd love her or him forever. Well, she will hit Uranus, and there will be a sort of a breakthrough energy. So the tension in June 19th to 24th could have a break free, breakthrough, or breakdown around July 2nd, 3rd, and all of that. Okay. Now, anything else I want to say? Let's keep moving her forward, because then she's going to talk to the nodes. And this is what I like, because she's going to form a very positive harmony with the North and South node. The North and South node moved in January into the Pisces Virgo axis. And this is the first time that she's been able to form from her home kingdom a loving energy towards the nodes of destiny and fate. And the lunar nodes receive her in a positive way. She'll be at the 21st degree of Taurus. Well, the North node is at the 21st degree of Pisces, a sign that she exalts herself in. And therefore, there's a special attention and relationship she has to her VIP treatment Pisces kingdom, home of Jupiter. And Jupiter is also in great dignity in Cancer. This is such a beautiful, dignified sky for both planets are strong in our heavens at this time. So Venus will indicate something positive and destined and maybe surprising because of Uranus, a destined, unexpected, positive surprise. I'm going to call the video destined. Venus in Taurus brings unexpected, destined, positive surprises. That's not clickbait. That's exactly what it is. So I'm going to talk about that. And I also want to notice that she is flowing to the South Node where we're letting go, releasing, and surrendering, but she can bring breakthroughs and ease in the way we must let go and surrender. And then, of course, she bumps into Uranus. Bang, right there. Boom. Crashes right into him. Exactly on July 3rd. You'll feel it up to July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Some exciting breakthrough, break free, break down, but a good one, or surprise. And she's going to bring it. Let's go through all signs. I've got a showing. I'm in my apartment, but they're going to come in 1 hour and show the property to potential buyers. Like open house. So I need to finish on time. So I'm going to give us 45 minutes to roll through the basic meaning of Venus and Taurus for your sun, moon, or rising. Listen to the intro for how to delineate each. And I'm going to talk mostly about how it feels to go through this nodal love up as she forms a wedge to the nodes of fate, like a doorstopper aspect. And when she's in this love up at 21 degrees of Taurus, of course, anyone sun, moon, and rising near 21 is really loving this vibe. And so we're talking about this happening on June the 26th. So because it builds up, I'm going to say you'll feel it 3 days before and 2 days after. Just after the solstice. Okay, let's do each sign and get started. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you won't miss a darn thing. And I put out a ton of videos. I hope you guys are still subscribed. I've gotten, I think they dumped 1,000 subscribers last month, like during the whole month of May, because I was seeing high views. And I have, you see the views are, the ratio of the views you get and the subscribers you get never really changes unless I started changing my content. And that ratio didn't work out at all. Instead of getting my 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to scrabble up to 2,000 if I'm lucky. And I know what happens is that they have been dumping out subscribers from the bottom of my bucket. So please check that you're still subscribed. And I'm begging to subscribe if you haven't. Subscription growth is part of the metric that YouTube uses to continue to share my channel with others. So thank you. Liking, subscribing, and talking and commenting and all the good stuff. So June the 20, I'm bumped up to June the 26th because that's the exciting time. And we're not starting with Aquarius. No, sorry. No, we're not. Sorry, Aquarius, I'm one of you, but we're not doing you first. We're starting at good old Aries because it makes it simple for everything and everyone, especially in the live premiere. Are you in the live premiere today watching? Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. So Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. I love that Venus is in your money house. You love it too. She's here in the earnings, savings, resources, and money house once every single year for about 3 weeks. And now you've got her June the 5th, all the way through to July the 4th, like July the 3rd, she leaves. And now this is a beautiful time because she's going to bring some destined positivity to your financial wellness. When I look at the North Node in the 12th house, it can indicate things you're doing behind the scenes or even backroom deals and negotiations in the 12th, or even money you make from borderless income and digital revenue from far off places, having a surge of upswing. Because Venus is with Uranus, it could be surprising, it could be electrifying, it could be a positive financial upswing, and it can be a surprise. Now, the 12th house is other things like hospitals or insane asylums. Like I'll be playing a hospital lottery, but you could get some positive news from hospital situations as well. Now, I like that Venus is also talking to that South Node in the 6th house of health issues, because this is the axis of 612 can be self-undoing, like addictive habits and patterns. And with Uranus in the house of what you put in your mouth or nose or whatever, you could have a breakthrough on a habit of something you ingest or eat, smoke or drink or whatever, or food style that's just not working for you. And this can be a real shift, a destined, fated breakthrough around struggles you have with any kind of substance that you ingest or whatever that's not good for you, habit patterns, addictions orally, basically, okay, coming to a close. And as Venus is connected here to Uranus at the bending of the nodes of fate. If you need to leave a job, South Node is like let go, surrender. Mars is there. Yes, he's in his joy, but he cuts, ends, and severs. If you don't need to leave a job, you're going to leave a kind of way you do the job. I'm no longer doing this. I'm no longer doing that. But by letting go of something with ease and flow, the finances flow. And in fact, it could even be that the financial surprise allows you the luxury to let go of some aspect of work and working, job and service that no longer feels true or right. South Node is telling all Aries they have to let go of something they think is their work. Their work has to change over the next year until mid next year. It's been playing out already. And the Venus love up here is either going to give you the money to change your job, or it's going to give you a job change and letting go that increases your prosperity. All said and done, it's great for your health as well, because it looks like dietary habit styles and changes to health and more exercise, maybe with Mars in your 6th, it's going to begin to really shift health matters for you as well. When around June the 26th, give or take a few days on either side, 25th, 6th, give or take a few days on either side. Now, Taurus, this is your story, right? This is all about you, sun, moon, and rising. And clearly, if your sun, moon, or rising is anywhere near 21 degrees, let's just say 18 to 24 degrees. I mean, that's pretty engaged. And you're going to really feel Venus at 21 Taurus sextiling the node of fate on her journey through your first house. But before we dive into that particular angle of, later in the month of June, let's just mention that this is your annual glow up. You can get your new haircut, your new makeup, your new wardrobe, especially the risings. If it's your sun, it's your career that gets a glow up, your moon, your home life. If it's your sun, your dad gets a glow up. If it's a moon, the mom gets a glow up. But Venus here is like you feel better about life. You're more popular, you're more congenial. People are attracted to you. You are like Miss Popularity contest, and you're charismatic and charming and more beautiful, not just physically, inside out. You just radiate the energy of the goddess herself. And so this is your highlight of every year. And here we have it longer than usual. Good for you, June the 5th through to July the 3rd. In her journey through this story, it's mostly positive and it's quite solitary. But then as we move to June the 26th, she will come into a beautiful flow to the nodes of fate called a wedge. This is going to open up change and good news from places where the eclipses are activating. This North Node eclipses through your 11th house. Have a simple, actual lift for your finances in ways that connect to your gains from your career. So your career gains, your reputation, your perks, your rewards, your celebrity in your work, that's on the rise. Yet it's also because of the eclipses, destined fated change in that house. Friends, groups of belonging, destined fated change in those groups as well. I do think that she's going to bring you some breakthrough, break free, surprising, but good energy. Sometimes we get windfalls or pennies from heaven, so to speak, from the 11th house of good spirit. Could look like that too, because the North Node is about worldly success and Venus is about money. So it could be a surprising financial breakthrough, but connected to reputation and career matters, because she's talking to the South Node in your 5th house. This involves matters to do with your children and bonifies your children. Maybe you're trying to let go of your children, like create some emotional distance, maybe physical, maybe they're going off to school and Mars is separating from the children, or the children can separate from you. We're talking about adult children, right? But there is something beautiful happening that glows that whole scene up. Also, you could say like a friendly, beautiful letting go, ending, releasing attention to the children. If you're an entrepreneur of any kind, you might surrender, let go, release some kind aspect of your entrepreneurial business. It's time. This is the house of good fortune, and letting go does serve you. It's okay to let go of that business that you had or that business that you created. Mars wants you to cut, sever, and end. South Node says it's destined. Something better awaits you. Trust me, it is not something to hold on to. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like you guys are going to do a lot of traveling over the next year. Mm-hmm. But I'll share that with you later. Now, that's the Jupiter story. Now, the last thing I want to say, because Uranus is in the sign of you, and you've got especially the risings, you may have a very massive insight, breakthrough, divine download coming through to do it with prosperity, money, beauty, and love. You might have an aha. And with Juno across the way, some of this aha is like, in the long-term committed love story, you may have some breakthrough insights during the month of June about whether you want to stay or go, and whether it's worth staying or going. Just keep that Juno in the love house, in the marriage house in mind, right? you have the upper hand, you have the strength, but it's illuminating something in the month of June, mid-June, about long-term committed love. We'll be covering it in more detail, by the way, for each sign on the week ahead forecasts on Mondays. Now, when you look at your Gemini sun, moon, and rising sign narrative, and I can relate a bit, I have a progressed Gemini sun, you're going to notice this is a very subtle shift of energy. When Venus is in your 12th house, you'll love your solitude. You'll enjoy being alone. You'll find pleasures in contemplative, quiet endeavors without public attention. And it's good for creativity. If you're a writer, an artist, or in any kind of creative artistic energies, can be expressed with great focus and dedication and endurance, the bull. And that's a good time to like write that proposal, write that book, do the artistic or creative things that are calling you in June the 5th to the July the 3rd. With Venus in this 12th house, she's also coming into a bending of the nodes of fate, love up. And I want to tell you, those eclipses that are happening in the North Node transit through the 10th house is going to change your career, but for the better. It's going to increase your success, ambition, and worldly gains up there. But you make changes in order for that to happen. And she's facilitating those changes. And anything you're working on creatively or behind the scenes in the month of June could really pop as a very big part of success in your career. If any of you make digital income, borderless revenue, online, foreign marketplaces, work for a foreign company, these things also look like some positive, exciting, exhilarating, surprising developments financially for you, where things between career and money made from that career in 12th house ways can break through. South Node says, let go of your home. Is it time to move? My progressed Gemini sun knows that. I'm already moving in July. I've got a new lease as of mid-June. I'll be doing a slower move, but I am moving my stuff over. And so you're going to let go, surrender, release a home. Or you may use this as soul work because you may let go of somebody in the home, cut away somebody in the home. Mars is cutting and snipping. Or you may want to travel from home. You see, Mars is like, I'll go off and be an expat. And then Venus is like, I'm in the house of distant shores. So there's some significant travel opportunities in June as she travels through Taurus. But I will say, when she tries the node of fate, the South Node of fate, you may have a destined shift regarding your home or a destined travel opportunity to a distant shore. And these can have life-changing impacts on you beyond the obvious and beyond the first glance at, oh, it's just a trip, right? It's not just a trip. It's something bigger than you imagine. So that travel has life-changing shifts for you. Now, Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. It is a energetic of Venus every year. Now it's for a month, June the 5th to July the 3rd, traveling through the house of good spirit, where good things happen, dreams come true, wishes are fulfilled, desires happen here, desires for your long-range plan, your idea, your bucket list, your idea of what success looks like. It's a social house. It's groups of belonging, friendship circles. It's allies and benefactors. And Venus says, yes, yes, yes. Favors from friends in high places. Elder sibling loves you up and with a sudden positive surprise. You're getting a glorious glow up in your public, reputation regarding career matters, like how your career outpictures as popularity, appeal, or celebrity. You might even find you get a raise or promotion and you're shocked or surprised you're going to get some more money. This is the kind of thing that Venus likes to do in your 11th house, and Uranus brings a surprise, especially in the 3rd week of June. Now, the opposition to Juno will cover in the weekly, but you might need to break some agreements you've made with a romantic partner or with your children, or you may need to look at whether those are truly desirable. I want to let you know, though, that as you approach this June 26th, Venus does love up that North Node. And I think some of you are going to travel abroad. This is travel to a foreign land with an elder sibling or friends or benefactors or people that you enjoy, friends, company that you enjoy socially, or even taking a group trip, with a theme for something like, the Wine Lovers Middle Way cruise with Lori Lothian. Who knows? I'm going to put that together one day. You're trapped on a boat, but you're going to drink moderately. I do want to say that Venus here, she is literally going to bring you positive financial surprises connected to your career. No other way to parse that. The South Node says, let go, release, and surrender. 3rd house matters. Your website, your social media entourage of, sites that you inhabit or sites that you populate, letting go, surrendering, releasing connections to aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, that are no longer like where you want to focus your attention. You could let go of a writing project. You can let go of some daily habits and routines that were a part of your world and you no longer want it. You can cut, end, and sever a neighborhood. Yes, you might want to change your neighborhood off of this. You might move your place to your home to another neighborhood. All said and done, it looks good on your career gains and your financial success from your career. And destined fated change in the ninth house, winning in court cases, winning in book publishing deals, winning in the foreign land travel that I talked about. Enjoy your ride of Venus through your ninth house. Through your 11th house. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign, it has a lovely feel to see Venus here in your 10th house every year for about 3 weeks, but now it's almost 4, June the 5th to July the 3rd, and you get a huge amount of career glow up. Now, I often see this looking like you're popular in your career. The bosses love you, the coworkers love you, your reputation soars, you're diva up on the sky top, and you're going to get some really kind of good feelings about your career. You might enjoy it more, and you enjoy the people you're careering with more. The boss is nicer to you. And then you end up saying, well, what can I do with it? Well, Venus rules money. So ask for more money, get a raise, ask for what you deserve, right? Venus here is going to bump into Uranus, of course, near the end of it all in July, but that she builds up bumping into on July 3rd. You'll see that she's trining the node of fate in the North Node of Fate in your 8th house of chunky money, a performance bonus, a severance package, a sign-on bonus, money that could come to you because of inheritances, money that comes to you because of stock paid off, a tax rebate, that kind of money that's unearned and comes in a single dose kind of vibe. Sometimes royalty income, sometimes money from stocks take off. This kind of thing is good. Venus is saying it's connected to your career. It's not just outside the box. Unless your career is about inheritances, is very likely a career financial perk that wants to happen in a destined fated way. And with the South Node in your 2nd house, it's like move away from working so hard to save and earn money. Mars wants you to cut, end, and sever something that really doesn't serve you anymore in the way you are churning through money making. You might let go of some part of the way you make money in order for something else to flourish. Mars only cuts away the dead wood so the tree can grow. It's not a negative thing. You might spend a bit more money here than you want to as well in the short term, but ultimately with the South Node being loved up by Venus, there is something about spending for your career, spending money on things you need for your career. It's a great chart for also going full on entrepreneurial. Mars is a self-starter with a South Node, but you have to let go of the old ways of working and the old ways of making money for this to pick up steam in a new direction. You can't do 2 things at once. Cut, end, and sever something in the money making. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first off, nodes of fate are moving through your sign, right? So South Node's been here since January 11th through to July of 2026. You're redefining who you are. You're finding your spiritual truth. You're going deeper into your spiritual life. You're remembering your past lives. You're getting old talents and gifts from other lives coming back to you. That's what happens with the South Node. You could have health challenges. That's kind of if you resist the inward spiritual quest, but sometimes it's just depleting of your energy. Now, I bring it up because Venus is trining that node. Let's go back to the basics. Venus is coming in to your 9th house. She will enter on June 5th and she will leave on July 3rd, and you will find yourself wanting to travel. And you'll probably want to go off to distant shores and far off lands, not just locally. You might also enjoy the travel. You may also enjoy success academically. You may enjoy favors from like headhunters or human resources, people that want to move you up to the 10th house and push you into a greater success. You also can be very benefiting here from legal things to do with judges and courts and favors, like favoring you, especially when it has to do with marriage court cases. That's going to be good on you because the North Node in the 7th trines Venus in the house of courts. The North Node, though, is in your 7th house of long-term committed love. Venus is in the house of churches. This can be wedding proposals, marriages, marriage plans being percolated during this transit. Your partner in crime, your significant other, may get opportunities abroad, including for work, and you may benefit from those as well as your partner gets surprisingly positive, exciting developments from foreign places and foreign countries connected to work and career opportunity. Lastly, I don't know, but some of you may use this for book publishing or spiritual breakthrough. Some of you might go, "Oh my God, I found God. It trines you, right? I discovered a spiritual path. I learned how to meditate at last. I had a spiritual breakthrough," or I went like heavy into trying to publish something, and I got surprisingly positive successes, and I reached a larger audience and marketplace, North Node in the seventh, than I ever imagined I'd win. Never imagined I'd reach. And ninth house is like third marriages. If you're in a long-term committed love, that's like your third long-term squeeze. We live together, we're committed. Then that's going to give a lot of good energy to that third long-term committed love story. It's going to give it a breaking free, breaking through positive vibe as well. All right. If you are a Libra, you are Venus ruled like Taurus, and everything she does matters to you. So pay attention. June 5th to July 3rd, she travels through your eighth house of chunky money. It's good for mortgages, investment monies, stocks and equities doing well. It's good for your inheritance monies. It's good for mortgages. It's good for escrow. It's good for that kind of money. And she does have a beautiful flow to your fourth house of land, property, and real estate. I will give you this. With a North Node in the house of debt removal, like paying down a mortgage because you sold the house, or eliminating the credit card debt or something. But the North Node, you might have felt extended since January, too extended in your debts. Like there's too much intensity around leveraged money that you owe. I mean, yeah, sure, you might be paying the mortgage payments or you might be paying the credit card payments, but you feel like it's an intensity there that may not be comfortable. And with Venus, Uranus, a sudden, surprising, exciting, exhilarating opportunity to eliminate some debt from your life. Now, yes, I will say you can still get an inheritance here. It is an inheritance house. And so this is one of those transits like Jupiter that can bring money unexpectedly from somebody passing away from an inheritance situation. With a Saturn the elder in the setting place, it would be probably a grandparent or a very elder parent if this was to occur in your life. I would say also that if you are an occultist, like you read tarot or you're into the astrology or the alchemical arts or the supernatural, there's a lot of intensity and a breakthrough of some sort, and you could propel you to work in those fields of endeavor and do really, really well. North Node is expanding your career success through work and service over the next year and a half, the next year now. Finally, the South Node is being loved up by Jupiter as well, and you need to release, surrender, and let go of your own self and doing self-sabotaging bad habits and patterns that don't work for you. Mars is cutting and slicing and is going to help you do it. However, another benefit of this is the South Node is also helping you kind of unravel karmic debts that you may have, not just real life debts, not like money, but karmic debts. And some karmic debt situations and relationships and friendships may come to an end during this transit in surprising ways. But then you go, oh, that feels really good. I'm glad that happened. Like that's a good ending. I feel good about it. Well, Scorpio, it looks to me like Venus is moving into your seventh house during June the 5th, all the way through to July the 3rd. If you're with somebody in a long-term love story, they get a glow up. They get to be loved by Venus because they're with you, collateral benefits of being your partner. So it may be that they're going to get more beautiful, more friendly, more lucky, more charming. It's just going to feel better. They get some really sweet space here from this transit, but it's also good for the whole relationship. Your whole relationship can be benefiting from more sweetness, more romance, more fun together, more kindness, more friendship. And so it's good for stabilizing it, especially with Juno in your first house, or for the ascendants in particular. You're eyeing if it's your sun, you're eyeing your job. Should I stay or go? If you're Scorpio rising, should I stay or go with that person? Scorpio moon, maybe you're eyeballing whether you should stay where you live, because there's like, do I want to keep the vows or agreements, says Juno, or do I want to break them? And, so if there's been instability in the relationship, this transit can really try to smooth it out with a turning point mid-June. Now, Venus has got a surprise up her sleeve as she's getting ready to connect with Uranus. And by June the 26th, she's divinely orchestrating a flow to the nodes of fate. So, a few days before and after that, you're feeling a divine flow with fertility and pregnancy. Yes, that's the pregnancy transit. This is also a divine flow with creativity and reaching your audience and marketplace in the World Wide Web with break free, breakthrough, exhilaration. Your painting, your performance in the play, your book manuscript, your song, whatever, something can really fly, something can really have a breakthrough vibration that's destined and fated, because North Node in the fifth house will increase your creativity, your procreativity, and your fertility. And in all things to do with entrepreneurship, you are succeeding. It's a nice glow on the entrepreneurial front. New romance can come that surprises you outside the box, not your type, destined and fated, all through this transit, with an emphasis on June the 26th, a few days before and after. What do you need to let go of? Venus is supporting and helping. She wants to help you let go of anything to do with your 11th house. That's your work house. It's the gains of the work, the salary, the perks, the rewards. Maybe you're working too hard. Maybe some old friendships, some past friends no longer serve you and you want to release them. But also Venus says it's with ease, harmony, and namaste vibe. I let go of this connection to this larger social group, to this friendship circle. She could put you in touch with friends from the past, though. That would be South Node in the house of friendship. So friends from the past reemerging in your life after a time apart or distance. So let me know how that goes. That's out throughout the whole month of June. Hey, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Do I have time to finish? Sheet, I'm getting there. So what I'd say is when June happens, June 5th through to July the 3rd, Venus is moving through her yearly transit of your 6th house of health and work, pets and rentals and debts. Lots of stuff, right? I will say with Jupiter in your 8th house and Venus here, you could be able to get enough sudden, unexpected, chunky money to eliminate your debts during the month of June. But you also might be able to secure a very beautiful and surprisingly exhilarating rental property as a tenant or as a landlord, rent your own home out. And you might get a pet without even thinking, because North Node says destined in the home and Venus says beautiful pet. And Uranus says surprise. And this is the 3rd week of June. You didn't plan on it, but here we are. Or maybe it's a breakthrough. Maybe your landlord said no pets, but then they changed the policy and yay, you got some breaking free to get a pet. Your health is here, breakthroughs in your health from things you're doing in and from the home. And finally, debts can be like flashpoint, incinerated, eliminated, let go of, because of the Uranus-Venus combo. And, there's a kind of vibe there. You might also release huge karmic patterns with Juno in the 12th house for how you deal with debt, and you may crack open a new path regarding being beholden to others karmically or financially. The South Node wants you to let go of some kind of career direction, some kind of job, some kind of reputation, career stuff. You've been like thinking since January, most of you, I can't do this anymore. I need to change my career path. If you're retired, you want to change how people see you doing retirement. And the South Node is going to continually leak the energy out of the 10th house. Good luck starting, an ambitious, career maneuver, because South Node is depleting you in the career space. And Venus is trying to soothe it up because she's in the house of work and job. And so there could be a destined new job connected to your past. South Node does represent the past. And so, you may know somebody from the past, or you worked somewhere briefly in the past, and a golden, surprising new job career opportunity emerges for you out of the blue, flashpoint of excitement, destined new path of career. But it is connected to the past, of the path of the past, a path of the past. Mm-hmm. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign Venus is moving in June 5th to July 3rd through your house of romantic love. This is romantic love. This is like if you're single and you don't get like totally infatuated, head over heels, falling in love with somebody, I'd be shocked. It's not just Venus Uranus, which has been happening once a year since 2018 around this time of year. It's Venus Uranus flowing to the North Node and South Nodes of fate. North Node in the 3rd house can say a romantic love story emerges from short distance travel, or in the local neighborhood, or through communicating, writing, and social media. Or you could get also a flashpoint of love because an aunt, uncle, cousin, sibling introduced you. But finally, North Node is in the house of your everyday world, the supermarket, the grocery store, the coffee shop, maybe just you meet across, your eyes look at each other across the vegetable produce section, and you know instantly this is your person. So I don't think you will miss it if it's going to happen. It's going to be like exciting because of the Uranus bit, and you'll be kind of swung into profound infatuation or electrifying love. And it can take a place more closely to the beginning of July, like July 1st to the 4th, where you actually encounter this person and it flows to you. And if you're Capricorn ascendant, especially if you're sun, it could be a breakthrough in your career to do with, creative energies, entrepreneurial. And if it has something to do with your moon, it's a home life breakthrough. But, I do want to say that for a lot of you, it will still carry the romantic signature. Like if it was your Capricorn sun, you'd meet somebody in the workplace, So next thing I want to say is pregnancy is here. And if you are not careful, you or your person could get accidentally pregnant. Uranus, Venus, sperm and ovum, Uranus, shock and awe. Uranus means breaking out of the box. So you might break through with an existing romantic love story, with the sex life changing in a new way that is refreshing, exhilarating, and surprising. And there's all of that. You notice that the South Node is in the 9th house, right? Well, that's the house of many things, but in relationships, it's a third marriage. So third marriages are getting depleted. The energy is leaving there. It's hard to focus, or third marriage partners from the past reemerge. If you are looking at the South Node in the 9th house, you might have to let go and release something to do with foreign places, foreign people, and foreign lands in an exhilarating, shocking, lightning strike way. But because it's connected to the nodes of fate, it's coming off of an illumination that no, I'm not meant to be in this relationship. And praise the Lord, breakthroughs can happen that are positive for entrepreneurial, creative, and artistic endeavors of any kind connected to writing and publishing. And unexpected sexual and romantic opportunities to travel, short and long distance, and or with your children. Oh, and your children can get pregnant under this transit. South Node in the 9th house of grandchildren, destined karmic grandchildren coming your way through exciting, exhilarating news that one of your children is pregnant. Hey, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, this Venus story is positive. How could it not be? It's Venus. She's moving in dignity through your 4th house, home, property, land, and real estate. I'm moving to a new home. She's the decorator. She's the designer. She's the paint girl with, a can of paint to paint the color you like on the wall. So you're going to find that the beauty and the artistic creation of a home, making it more beautiful, is here. But you also might be finding that you're finding enjoyment and pleasure in the home. Time in the home becomes very midnight hour, becomes very, very sexually charged, maybe like a lot of sex in the bed pleasures, but more like you're enjoying your life in your home. And in new ways that you didn't imagine was possible. You can be very artistic and creative in and from your home, and Uranus can have you break through with new levels of creativity and art and artistic expression. Sometimes Venus transiting the 4th house is a female's visiting us in the home, and that could happen that someone comes to stay with you or visit you during this journey of June 5th to July 3rd. One thing I do want to say with Venus here is she is very much about romantic love, no matter where she goes. And so romantic love in the home is a story for you. You might be more inclined to spend more time with your partner, dinner at home, Netflix at home, rather than socializing, being in the home, bringing the romance into the home. The North Node of fate is expanding your career gains and earnings, your savings, your money from your career. And that is positive. And this is beautiful because the North Node expands those earnings or that revenue of those savings. And Venus says, and we're participating in the theme of prosperity from home. Now, if you want to buy a home under this, because the South Node Mars is in the 8th house, then you could buy a home under this energy. You have suddenly a surge of financial wellness that allows for the purchase of a home. That could happen. Also, South Node she's trining the South Node in the 8th house to let go, release and surrender karmic patterns from other lifetimes. And I don't know, this is happening on the 26th where she's exactly at the nodes of fate bending them. But as she approaches, and you want to go 3 days before that. So, the 3rd week of June, the end of June to early July, there's a lot going on with Venus and the fated nodes. You could have a breakthrough in your relationship to a mother figures, or even something to do with your childhood and things to do with memories of your childhood as well. The South Node is traveling through the eighth house of chunky money. Karmic chunky money coming to you from the eighth house may emerge from past lives or things that have already occurred in your past. And we brought you by Mercury, by the way, which is interesting because it'll be in your seventh house by the 26th. I'm just going to leave that story for now. And I wish you Aquarian, Sun, Moon, and Risings a lot of luck on this beautiful Venus transit. And don't forget, if you like and subscribe, when we get to the Venus square Pluto, which is a big deal in the first week of June, you're going to want to watch that one for you guys. It's a big story for the Aquariuses. And then finally, I can't wait to find my new recording studio space in my new property. I have no idea how I'm going to set it up. There's not really a big enough space for an office, not for recording, that is. They call it a flex space or a den, but it's really like a windowless closet. And so you'll see my new place. I'll be getting the keys on like June 1st, but I won't be fully moving in maybe till early July. But I'll start as soon as I get it. I'll be sharing it with you guys. Let's go Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And it looks to me like you've got a story going on where Venus is going to bring you positive, beautiful experiences in writing and communicating, traveling short distance, local neighborhood and pleasures, and engaging socially in the local neighborhood with neighbors and going to the social local events and doing things. And that's Venus transiting your third house, June the 5th to July the 5th, 3rd. Now, if you're single, this is dating apps for sure. Uranus is kind of like the, internet digital stuff, and Venus is love, and third house is social media. So single Pisces, please don't be afraid to go Tinder swiping or whatever. This is not the scariest thing. You can do that with this guy. You might meet somebody because she's going to hit the bending of the nodes of fate, and the North Node is telling you it's your destiny, young Skywalker, for third house positive success stories that emerge around June the 26th. It's ideal for dating. It's surprisingly, shockingly, exhilaratingly exciting. You could meet somebody very different than your normal type and be very swept away. A sibling one younger than you has breakthrough information that helps you, or insights or directions. You may have something going on if you're a writer where you have an insight, a download, a breakthrough, a new communications idea, a new marketing and selling technique, breakthroughs in anything you're sharing social media wise to do with learning, teaching, scrying, divining, those kinds of words, and breakthrough energy and a success. I also love that the South Node in your seventh house is taking your attention away from a significant long-term love story in a way that's probably healthy for you, because now the attention of the destined nodes goes to growing you a bigger and different version of worldly success and how you qualify worldly success in your life. So Venus, though, will bring people from your past that you have loved in long-term committed love back into your orbit. They may be traveling to see you. They may be phoning and emailing you, but you may hear from them. There may be a need for you to more acutely separate your attention, though, away from a long-term committed love partner so that you can focus on what it is you want to do. And Venus brings the grace and ease to do that. Maybe your partner is going to travel and you have some time alone. Maybe you're going to travel and you have some time away from them. I like the third house for the simple pleasures of the neighborhood and really finding the enjoyment in your local environment. And please take the time then to say yes to social obligations and make them social opportunities during this time frame. This is your June of summer of love. You can have fun in the local environment with people whose company you enjoy. And with Juno in the house of publishing and Venus in the house of writing, some of you may have some writing breakthroughs that lead to publishing contracts and deals, especially mid-June, but in the month of June in general, as well as these beautiful and shocking, surprising opportunities for travel that you may not have planned, but when you do travel, you find it very enjoyable. Jupiter is in the house of romance, and so some of you singletons are definitely going to find big love coming your way. But if you're in an existing relationship, the pleasure and the love and the romance are increasing, but travel is important. And don't forget, out of the woodwork, past love, committed love stories are coming back to you a little bit during this transit. Venus would be in a communications house. You'll hear from them. Love from the past returns during the month of June. Doesn't mean you're going to get back together with them. It could, but it could also just be there's a time to see each other or talk or communicate for reasons that are very profoundly healing in some way. Thanks for listening. Now I'm going to do a quick outro. I'm hearing the real estate agent on the deck, getting ready for, moving the furniture around above me. And all I'll say about this is this. If you are thinking about, I'll do the Israel charts with the solar arcs on the next outro. I don't want to go into a dark topic. I wanted to talk about something, I've been thinking about lately with Saturn moving into Aries and what it could mean for the world. And I had the good fortune of stumbling upon a podcast. I think it's the Rune Soup guy. And I really enjoyed what he had to say about what if Saturn and Neptune is a portal in Aries. And I'll link his podcast from YouTube to my description box below. And I love the magical way he perceives this transit rather than looking at it like we all do as hard. Saturn, the taskmaster, the old one, the wise man, the aged one, the renunciate, the celibate, the hard one in my Aries whole sign house. Instead of feeling all about it, because I'm feeling it. My sun, moon, and Mercury are all getting a Saturnian dose. There's Neptune nearby, right? And we have this like dissolving, amorphous, vast, spacious Neptune. And then what's Saturn? He's structure. But what kind of structure? What about a door? What about a portal? What about a way through? Certainly, come on, pharmaceuticals is Neptune. Saturn is structure. There'll be more regulation of pharmaceuticals, more rules for pharmaceuticals, more structures around it. But what on the magical side, in your Aries whole sign house, we have by July 13th, Neptune and Saturn are only 13 minutes apart. They don't perfect partile. They don't make a partile or perfected conjunction until February 20th of 2026, but they're testing the waters and giving us a flavor of it. So I'm going to say, pierce some veils, because Saturn is hard boundaries and structures, and portals could happen. Pierce some veils and portals of perception. The doors of perception. Aldous Huxley feels so true around how we can use this combining of Saturn and Neptune together in Aries through until September the 1st. And we're feeling it already. It's in play. It gets pretty close in July. Then Saturn refrains from making the connection to Neptune and retrogrades back into Pisces on September 1st. He has unfinished business in the Piscean waters. But in my humble opinion, the Rune Soup guy, I think that's his chat. I'll get... the word rune is in the podcast. I sent it to a friend, so I still have it. And I'll put it in the description link below. It is a doorway. It can be used magically. It can be enchanting. Neptune rules enlightenment, oceanic awareness of oneness, enchantment and mesmerism and hypnotism and miracles. Yes, he can be malefic. Yes, he can get you addicted. Yes, he can, here's a good one. Hard boundaries, Saturn on addictions. This girl's trying to write the line lovers middle way, and he's parking his butt on the writer Mercury at 2 degrees of Aries in my third house of writing. It'll be a great brand. I've got the domain. It'll be a podcast. It'll be a thing. I just have to figure out the middle way myself. Instead of saying I'm overly stressed at the end of a workday, give me a glass of wine. I should be saying, what a great idea to have a glass of wine to celebrate something. There's a balance point. I don't drink that much of it. I just don't want to have a habit around it. Saturn will give structure to it and form and boundaries for all of us around areas of our life where we are prone to addictions or escapism or, then darker sides of Neptune. But he can also give form and structure to our spiritual life, right? Time to meditate. Time to have a structure around meditation, a structure around creativity and art, especially screenplays, filmography, videography, and storytelling, structure and discipline around our drug supply, structure and discipline around all these things. So, but I do like the idea of it being a doorway or a portal. And there's something, the whole podcast was beautiful. Maybe it's short, like 30 minutes, because I listened to it, quickly. So I'll put it in the description box below, but I'm ruminating on configuring my understanding of the Lord of Time and Karma, Chronos, time, and Neptune, dissolving of time in Aries, pioneering time travel. I'm reading a great time travel book right now called The Ministry of Time. Maybe we'll discover time travel. Maybe we will pioneer a new kind of travel through time, not just space. Wouldn't that be cool in the next 3 years with Neptune and Saturn in Aries, more or less? till 2028 April. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open. So I'm going to go put some drops in them. I got some drops for allergies. I haven't taken them today. And I'm in my house with an air purifier going. The pollen count register is high, like very high. It's like two things all at once. And I sailed through the last 3 Mays with no problem. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Thanks, guys, for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to be around and help my channel grow. Come and join me in Sky Reader in July. Ciao, ciao.